much you guys think I make at McDonald's? 2 weeks. I'm a manager. Don't let my shirt fool you. We don't make shit. Me and my husband were both managers at McDonald's. And for 2 weeks, I only bring home, where's it at? $1,100. That's 2 weeks. So as manager.
Not to be in y'all's business or anything, but how much money do y'all make an hour? How much money do y'all make? I just seen this video of this girl. She was like, in this type of economy, there's no way I'm showing up to nobody's job to make less than $15 an hour on a lower scale. That's like on a terrible scale.
Bro, how are people making it? If you making $30 an hour, it's weird to ask that, but how are you making it? After you pay your rent, $1,500 a month, that's on the low side. Car note, $500 a month. Phone bill, $100 a month. Insurance, gas, food, electricity, health insurance, all these day-to-day expenses. How are people making it? You do the math and you come back and tell me what the numbers look like for you. Because a person can make $30 an hour and is going to struggle. I can only imagine making $15 an hour. You cannot live on that. No, you cannot. You cannot convince me otherwise. You cannot live on $15 or $30 an hour, or you're gonna stay broke. Convince me different.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be reacting to videos of Americans who have decided to come onto the internet to share their pay slips, right? At some point in life, this would not have been considered a wise decision, but why are Americans all of a sudden coming onto the internet and talking about how much they're earning?
Right, and this is because right now the economic state in America and furthermore, how Americans are being paid does not quite match the way they are being taxed, right? And some might even argue that they're being taxed out of existence. Why are we saying this, guys?
Right. Also, the cost of living is literally driving Americans down to poverty, right? If it's not the high insurance cost, it's the high cost of living. If it's not the high cost of living, people cannot even afford groceries. Some families cannot even afford 3 square meals in a day, the most basic things that one needs to in order to live as a decent human being, right? But guys, what are we talking about? Let's watch what is happening and then we come back and talk about it. You can let us know your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let's watch.
How much you guys think I make at McDonald's? 2 weeks. I'm a manager. Don't let my shirt fool you. We don't make shit. Me and my husband were both managers at McDonald's. And for 2 weeks, I only bring home, where's it at? $1,100. That's 2 weeks. So as manager, in a full month of working, I bring in, what, $2,400? People are always like, why are you guys so broke? Just our rent alone is $1,500. Our car payment is $500. My car insurance, because I was an irresponsible addict for so long, that's like $400 a month. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. My electric bill is like $200 a month. You guys just add up like our regular bills. We only have like a $300-$400 median after that. We still have the grocery shop, gas, have money to live. We don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. My husband makes a little bit more money than I do. A tiny bit. Not much.
It's payday, so let's budget my paycheck as a 30-year-old in downtown Chicago who really wants to make his wife work optional one day. Spoiler alert, I'm extremely disappointed because I sold some stock options and they are not on this paycheck. Gross pay was $4,262.55. From there, I have 5 pre-tax deductions, the first one being my 401k, which was $852.51. Next up, we have my HSA at $281.25. Dental, health, and vision insurance, which is $107. And for taxes, which includes federal and state income tax, I have $774.18. Then I have one post-tax deduction, which is critical care insurance, and that was $13.13. cents, leaving my net pay to $2,234.48. So where the hell is it all going? After last month was all said and done, I had $700 left in my checking account. Because of that, I need to move $1,100 into my mortgage bucket. My wife and I split our mortgage payment in half, and my half is $1,800. This leaves me with about $1,100 that I'm going to put to my Capital One Venture X bucket. I do get some questions about where I bank, and I currently use SoFi to organize all my savings buckets. Right now, we owe $1,938 on our Capital One card, so I gotta start saving up to pay this off. But I'm honestly not worried because my next paycheck should be very large comparatively to what I make now. So follow along if you want to see how much stock I was able to sell. Anyway, that's my paycheck. Thanks for budgeting it with me, and those are the notes.
What's the minimum wage in America? I just saw a girl made a video saying she gets paid $3 an hour. What? As in $1 to $3 an hour for waitressing. Are you taking the piss? What the? What's the minimum wage like? If that's how you lot are getting paid, the tipping thing makes so much sense because what are you talking about? What are you talking about? $3 flipping an hour? That is absurd. Like, I can't comprehend how that is a livable wage. How are you paying someone $3 an hour? No way. No. That has to be a prank. No, I need to check. What's the minimum wage? So the minimum wage is even $7.25. Why are you getting paid $3? Oh my days.
I got paid $1,144.85. Y'all, that's every 2 weeks, y'all. First, I gotta pay my car note is $973.84. That's leaving me with $171 with 1 cent.
Yo, sell that car. Sell that shit and never look back. $973 for a car payment. That's pretty much rent in some places. Also, her car is a Jeep and that car gives her a lot of trouble. She also has a car warranty of like $154 per month. Yo guys, her paycheck breakdown gets even worse. She also has a side job from DoorDash that brings her a little bit of extra revenue, around $500. And then she has tons of after-pay debt and just debt in general. If you guys watch the complete breakdown, you can just tell what the problem is. It's that car, the car note and the afterpay. Bro, that afterpay is killing people. Now, back to the car notes. I've noticed that a lot of people, their biggest problem is their car notes. It is so easy to live above your means by just getting an expensive car and paying a crazy monthly payment. Look, I love cars. I want to get the best possible car my hands can get, but sometimes I gotta be reasonable. Till you're very comfortable with your finances, there's no problem in getting a very nice, low budget, efficient car.
Not to be in y'all's business or anything, but how much money do y'all make an hour? How much money do y'all make? I just seen this video of this girl. She was like, in this type of economy, there's no way I'm showing up to nobody's job to make less than $15 an hour on a lower scale. That's like on a terrible scale. And one thing about life, yes, people have to be more grateful. We have to do a better job at being thankful for what we already have. But let me tell you something. You know how brutal that is? Nobody wants to show up to a job and work like 40 hours, and half the time if you're making that type of money, you have to work well over 40 hours for it to even make sense, because if not, the whole check is going to taxes. And it's crazy because when you don't raise minimum wage, but you have jobs that'll pay you $4 or $5 over the minimum wage, when the minimum wage is already like sinking. When you think of an ocean, like the minimum wage is already underwater. You're dead at that point. But to pay somebody like $4 or $5 right over the minimum wage just so that they can be able to say they don't make minimum wage is crazy work in this type of economy. Everybody can't make 6 figures a year. Everybody can't make over 100, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 making that type of money with these types of jobs. But what I do know is to not be able to make the bare minimum, you ain't seeing no extra money out your check. And matter of fact, the only way that you can even see some of your check is if you don't pay no bills. You would have to live off of somebody else.
I'm around as a new hire. I am making about $27,000 before taxes.
What's the reason for that? Well, that's crazy.
New hire pay is one price, and then each year it goes up until you max out at like 12 or 13 years, depending on which airline you work for. The company that I'm with hasn't really given a pay raise for a very long time, so we've been in contract negotiations for that.
How do you feel about, going from 70 down to 20?
Depending on the airline that you work for really determines how much you can work. When I was with another airline, I could work a lot more and make a lot more. With my current airline, I'm hindered by a lot of legalities and stuff. So it kind of hinders me from working as much as I would like to.
I've heard that flight attendants don't get paid until the door closes. Is that right?
We get paid until the door closes and the brake releases. So when we are boarding, we are not being paid. When we sign into work, we are not being paid. When we are sitting in the airports between our flights, we are not being paid. It's not all about the money. Of course, we don't do it for the money. If it would help a lot. But yeah, a lot of people do it for the love of people, the love of traveling, and yeah.
Okay, so I just got off work, and I did the calculation today from my job. Let me just cover up my uniform a little bit more. Of how much money I made per hour. Today, I made $15 an hour. I have been with this company for 8 years. I've been flying as a flight attendant for 6 years, and I made $15. Now, mind you, if I lived in the middle of the United States, okay, sure, $15 an hour, fine. I live in Seattle. All of our bases are on the West Coast. $15 an hour. I could go work as a receptionist and work whatever schedule I wanted as a receptionist at a hotel or something and get paid like $23, $24 entry level.
All right, y'all. This is the brother here that used to work at Walmart. He said, I left Walmart after 3 months. My checks never had made it past $1,500 bi-week. That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm sorry the brother had to go through that. That's similar. That reminds me when I first moved down to Charlotte, I had got on with Walmart. I had got on with Carvana. Carvana was paying me $1,800 every 2 weeks. I went to my boss and told him I'm about to leave. This ain't no money.
I just got paid, so let's open up my paycheck and see how much it is. This is my second paycheck for my new library job. This one should be a full paycheck for a full 2 weeks. The last one was not, so I'm curious to see how much this is. It was supposed to be direct deposit, but there was something like messed up with it. The paper check again, going old school. I think my guess is gonna be around maybe like $540, $520. Last check was pretty close to a full check, but I think it was missing 1 or 2 days. It is $549.48. So I was almost correct. $549. That means every 2 weeks I will make $550. So I will make $1,100 a month. That is pretty good for part-time. It's only 18 hours a week, but I have 2 like 30-minute breaks that I'm unpaid for. So I only work 17 hours a week, so that's 34 hours for $550. That's not bad. My hourly wage is $17.57 for anybody that's curious. The minimum wage in Connecticut I think just went up to $16 possibly, or $16.50, so I don't make quite much more than minimum wage. So even though I'm making less money per paycheck at this job than I was my retail job, I'm making more per hour, and also the work is nowhere near as like stressful or busy. Like, this job is so chill that I am absolutely fine only making $1,100 a month at this job. That is amazing for like the work that I'm actually doing. It still shocks me, and I'm still trying to get used to the change of pace. So this is what a normal paycheck is going to be. Hopefully from now on there'll be direct deposit, and I will be back to budget this with you and see how much we can put towards my student loans.
How is everyone affording life? Real question. How are you guys doing it? Because my daycare costs the same as our mortgage, which is just wild to me. And I had a crash out earlier today just about how like really expensive everything really truly is. And I just don't know how you guys are doing it. So I have a corporate 6-figure job. I should be able to afford life. We're not doing anything wrong. Just life is expensive. And I'm the breadwinner in my household. There's this like constant stress like hanging over my head all the time of you got to make more to provide for your family, especially in this day and age. And it's wild because at the same time I'm stuck in these corporate handcuffs and I am going through burnout. I don't want to continue doing this. I have like the mental load, hanging over my head. I'm trying to be a good mom, let alone like a good wife, daughter, sister, friend, which I'm failing at all of those things.
How much do you make? I make $215,000. Nice. How long have you been doing it?
2 years?
I worked at the DOJ. I was an assistant U.S. attorney for 2 years in D.C. and I made 73, and then you get locality pay, which was 20 something. It ended up being before taxes about 97 a year.
I'm a legal assistant. How long have you been doing it? About 2 years. And how much do you make? I make $55,000 a year. Nice. Do you feel fairly compensated? No. Cost of living in Atlanta is high, and I live in this area. It's a great area, but it's a very expensive area. Gentrification is real, and prices keep rising, so I think pay should keep rising, but that doesn't seem to be happening.
I am a self-employed attorney. I practice in the field of employment law. I mostly represent plaintiffs.
How much do you make?
Last year, I made about $100,000.
How long have you been doing it?
A few minutes. This is my 26th year as an attorney.
I'm an attorney.
How long have you been an attorney?
23 years.
What's your earning potential like?
I think the average starting salary for someone coming out of law school can range from about $90,000 to $180,000.
Not bad at all.
Most people come out of law school with a significant amount of debt, so the practical recovery or return on that isn't as high until you've been doing it for about 30 years, and then the student loans hopefully are paid off.
Okay, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score?
6.
Woo! And how many do I need to pass?
6. 100.
What?
If you're making less than $10,000 a month in America right now, you're not living. That's like, I've come to the conclusion that the new baseline salary for an employee should be 10 bands a month. If you're not making 10 bands a month, then we're out here struggling.
I make $120,000 from my 9-to-5 job. Let's break down my paycheck and see how much I make every month living in Irvine, California. So my gross pay every pay period is $5,000. I get paid bi-monthly. I pay $589 in federal income tax and $307 in Social Security. I pay $71 in Medicare. And then the state of California roughly takes around $350 from my paycheck. I can contribute $350 to my 401k, and then I get $48 taken out of my paycheck for medical insurance. My net pay is roughly around $3,300, which means per month, I make roughly $6,600.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played here. You know, growing up, there was a point in life where if you had certain people had certain jobs, you knew very well that their family lived well, right? Because those were considered good paying jobs. If you grew up in a certain household where your parents had certain titles, then you knew your family was doing well, right? Like for example, if they were managers at wherever they were working, you knew they were being paid well, right? But in today's society, it's quite sad that you find people in a home. There are two managers of establishment, but they're not making enough money. Like the lady who talked about being a manager of McDonald's. McDonald's is a huge franchise, right? You'd expect these people, for giving their whole life to that place, you know, working all those hours and foreseeing and making sure that somebody's business is making good money, you'd expect them to be paid well, right? But why is it that you ask yourself the payment or the salary is not matching the current state of living or the high cost of living right now? Why are families not able to sustain their lives?
Right, and the biggest question you're asking today is this situation, how long is it gonna go for, and to what end will the government tax their own people out of existence? Like, what is the end goal of this whole situation, right? Number one. And are Americans willingly walking into that end goal without themselves knowing that they are walking themselves into that end goal? That is number two. Number three, for those who have figured that the system is broken, but it is not so broken to the ones who have designed it, but it is working exactly how it was designed to work, what then do they do in this situation? How do you break this matrix?
Right, because at the end of the day, I've seen so many people advise others on the internet that America is expensive, well, you could just move to another country.
And others have even gone as far as advising their fellow Americans to stop paying bills altogether. And others have even gone to an extreme of saying Americans in general should stop participating in the social political economy of America in such a way that they should stop going to work, reporting to work, and they should stop sending their children to school altogether so that the government can come back down and listen to their grievances.
I do get what they're saying, and I do also understand. But with every action comes a consequence, right? And not everybody can leave America. If they could, I have a feeling like majority of the people would have already left just to prove a point, But you find yourself in a situation where it's not everybody who can afford to live here. And then also consequences, as we say, you can decide to all not go to work. It's a good thing and it takes courage. Question is the consequences of not going to work. Are people ready for that kind of consequence? Because it means if you're not going to work, even that $1,100, you're not getting it, And I'm asking, how does one survive? Let's say, for example, the lady who talked about earning $1,100, assuming she didn't have her husband, right? And you have, let's say, for example, you have a kid and you have a house to pay rent to, how do you survive on that paycheck? So everything is quite tricky. And I feel like consumerism, people started consuming things to a point where right now it's kind of a basic need. Some things you cannot go without paying the subscriptions off,
Right. And what is even more sad is that in Africa, things like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, that is money that can help people live very, very good lives here in Africa. But in America, it has been made in such a way that
it means nothing.
It means nothing, and that is quite a lot of money, Until there was a time on TikTok where people were saying money is an illusion, and right now people give importance to money, and that is why money has power over people. But then again, this is such a hard situation to try and maneuver because currently as it is, yes, people can choose to barter trade with each other. And for those who don't know what barter trading means, it means that you exchange one item in order to get another one from a neighbor, an item that you didn't have. For example, if I have salt in surplus and Maren has sugar in surplus, but I don't have sugar, I take her some of my salt and we trade. She gives me some.
But how practical is that in today's world?
That's why I was saying.
And then I also saw a lady who just began her residency and got her first paycheck. And from what I believe, someone who's in residency, that's someone who studied medicine, right? They're soon to become like professional doctors,
Yeah.
So if they're not making good money, because she had made $2,200,
but she wasn't clear during what duration, if it was for the entire week or
1 week or 2 weeks, yeah,
right.
So if you're making that kind of money and then after tax you're left with $1,700, so what's the difference between you and the person who works at McDonald's? Just a few couple of dollars on top, And I feel like there are some certain careers that used to have meaning, prestige and meaning also when you are growing up. Things like being a doctor, a lawyer, things like that. You used to make good money, right? And
also some government
positions used to make good money. But if you see yourself in today's society, you can't even make anything out of the profession you studied for, then that means there's a serious problem in society. So the question then also becomes, exactly what do people need to be doing right now to be making good money? Because clearly the traditional ways of making money is no longer viable. Because I also remember growing up, there used to be a point where kids in high school just go and get jobs at McDonald's, and jobs were available, and these kids would make good money.
The better it was for you, because by the time the kids hit adulthood, they had significant amount of savings, somewhere to start their lives with.
Right. So I don't know, guys, let us know, what is the future looking like, and how is this, like, how as a society can you be able to tackle this problem? Because there was a generation where to tackle the problem of poverty, people used to push their kids to certain career choices. You go study medicine, become a lawyer, you go become a real estate agent, that they're gonna make it in life, and they did, But right now, even when you tell your kids to go study or to go to college, exactly what type of income or what type of career are you pushing them towards to make sure that they're gonna be making a comfortable living? Because the traditional methods are not working anymore.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode down on the comment comment section. And do you think really America will ever go back to how it was, especially when they were enjoying financial freedom, and back when the whole world knew America to be a land of land of milk
opportunities
and
and land of milk and honey. I do believe that it's possible, but it will take intentions and good leadership. Right now, what is the intention of the leaders, the powers that be have for America? That is the big question.
Right. So guys, let's thank you so much for watching, and you can also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. Leave us a comment on what you think about this episode, and we'll see you on our next episode.